Welcome to day 3 of the Bliss Kiss Gold Standard Challenge. Okay, today is tips on how to make your manicure last longer. And the first thing we've got to get into is length and lifestyle. So many people want really, really long nails, but then their lifestyle just gets in the way. And what they end up doing is breaking nails like crazy. So your lifestyle is the number one thing that will dictate the right length for you. If your nails are too long for your lifestyle, you kind of know. You just know when you're looking at them and you're like, they're about to go. One of them's going to go. So you kind of have that sense already, and you get much better at sort of knowing that as your nails get longer. Okay, so let's look at all of the other lifestyle considerations that we need to think about. A lot of times, when people come to me and show me pictures or they'll say something and I was like, what's wrong with my nails? Why do they keep breaking? Well, I have to ask you a bazillion questions because there's all kinds of reasons that your nails may be breaking. They may be, well, let me just get into this. Okay. So we're going to look at the main ones, which is stress, health, what's going on in your home, and what's going on at work or with hobbies. Stress. Don't we all have it? I don't know if it's actually possible to live completely stress-free. But because when you think about it, there is good stress and there is bad stress. And a lot of times, like even getting married or having a baby or moving to a new house that, that's a step up and you're super excited, those are all still really stressful periods of your life. So let's look at that. It's really one of those things. Everything, okay, so the nail matrix is where your nail cells grow, and anything that is going to affect blood flow will have an effect, a direct effect to your nails. Okay, so stress is one of those things. Since your fingernails and your toenails are the farthest from your core internal organs, fewer nutrients are delivered to the nail matrix where those cells are formed. So this means that the quality of your nail cells that your body is actually creating when you're stressed declines. Your overall health can directly affect your nails. You've got illness, surgeries, poor diet, and sleep. All of those contribute to the health of your natural nail plate. So the other thing is think back. I get this a lot. Anna, my nails have suddenly started peeling. My nails have suddenly started breaking. Well, my first question is, what happened to you 4 months ago? And like 95% of the time, it is directly related to one of these things. And is there some major stress or health thing that has happened? Because it actually takes your nails from the cuticle line to the free edge about 4 months. Some people all the way up to 6 months. But the average is about 4 months. And so I go, what were you doing 4 months ago? Because something probably happened. And then that was compromising the nail cell growth, but you don't notice it until it gets to the free edge and starts breaking. Home. All kinds of things are very dangerous at home. As any of you know, if you have small children, all kinds of things are dangerous and you got to put them all up high. So the home can also be a really dangerous place to your fingernails. And why is this? Because we do everything with our hands. If you think about it, like of all of the body parts, you do the most with your hands. And like there's this funny thing where people like memes that go around of like my fingernails are breaking or my polish chips on my fingernails, but it'll last forever on my toes. Well, the reason for that is because you're not picking up everything and doing everything with your toes. So we want to look at things like Do you have young kids? If you're dealing with little ones and all of the stuff that happens with little ones, it's very hard to have longer nails. Do you have pets, especially dogs? And if you're grabbing at them for whatever reason, I have broken so many nails when I had a dog. I broke my nails trying to make sure she didn't jump off the sofa or whatever when I'm trying to clip her nails. And so I have a saying, and it is, unless it's a Ming vase, let it drop. For most things, you can let them drop. Okay. So pets can be an issue. Do you wash dishes without gloves? Do you clean the house without gloves? I talked about that yesterday. I know we hate the gloves, but they're really important. They are this external kind of buffer that helps us not break nails as much. Do you do laundry, and do you do a lot of laundry and make beds? Beds, oh, I have Corey make the bed, like do the sheets and everything, because that's sure breakage. And then do you do gardening and yard work? I have multiple pairs of gardening gloves because as soon as they start to feel wet or sticky, I put them away and I pick up another pair. So that is very important as well. Try to wear gloves as much as you can. Work. Okay, work and hobbies. This is a big one too. I already alluded to that in the last slide. Here's the big thing. Water, paper, fabric, and other materials can strip the oils away from your nails and your skin. So oil is critical to keeping your nails hydrated and flexible and to prevent peeling and breaking and chipping and other weaknesses. So if you work with fabric, paper, or water, you need to rehydrate your nails and skin with high quality jojoba wax ester based oil. And the reason I say that is because under the microscope, jojoba looks almost identical to body oil. And there's something magical that happens with the Bliss Kiss blend where it works better than just straight jojoba. So you definitely want to look for that as the very first ingredient when you're choosing a nail oil. All right, so to get back to this, if you want to find the nail length that fits best for your lifestyle, and for a lot of times, even though you may be coveting long nails, it just may not work. Okay, this is a really interesting one. Your nail shape. And a lot of people think your nail shape doesn't matter, but it does. It makes a big difference in how long your nails will grow and how your polish will wear. So what does that mean? So if we're looking at this slide, we've got vertically long, which is what you will see with most bloggers, my nails as well. And then we've got broad sideways or rounded, even egg-shaped, square, triangular, inverted triangle, almond, and sword. Take a look at yours. What are you? Where do you fit in that? Because your shape can affect how quickly they break. I want to jump in real quick and sort of do a sideline of if you are somebody who struggles with biting your nails or picking at skin, you definitely want to take a look at our support group over on Facebook, because we have lots of resources there, because it's a very big topic and there's a lot of information and I just can't cover it in this challenge. All right, chips and tips. So we all get chipping, and this is sort of what started me in this whole thing was, how do I get my polish to stop chipping in the shower? And I talked to you already about water absorption, and that's a big problem. But then how do we look at the other things that may make chipping happen? So we want to prevent the polish chipping and the tip wear and get your manicure to last as long as possible. So the first thing is it starts with changing your awareness. It becomes really, really important to slow down. You don't have to slow down this much. But what I want you to do is just slow down just a little bit and pay attention to, what am I doing with my hands? Where are they going? Those habits and the things that are happening in your lifestyle are very, very important. Another thing is go slow to grow. And like I said earlier, your nails take about 4 months to grow, so they're not going to grow fast. Okay, some of you are blessed with very fast growing nails, but mine take a long time. So it takes time. Be patient with yourself. The wet polish method. So one of the ways that you can be your own nail care detective is to pretend that your nails and fingers are covered with this gorgeous layer of polish and you don't want to get polish anywhere. How do you change what you do with your hands? Another way is, where would you leave fingerprints as you go through the day? And it's surprising how much and how many things we touch during the day. So as you go through the day, what nail crimes are you finding? My friend Kirsten put in this. For example, my thumbnail was chipped by Mrs. Peacock in the car with the seatbelt buckle. You kind of know those things that are like the dangerous warning kind of places where you typically break nails. And those are activities where you are going to want to slow down. Honestly, every time I reach for a door really fast and I'm not paying attention, I hit a nail right against the doorknob and I break it. Okay, so let's look at, we've got 2 ways that the polish will chip. Okay, the first one is if it's chipping at the cuticle line. So what's happening here, and this is a really great picture of what exactly is the cuticle. So when you're looking at this, you can see that there is this dead skin on the nail plate, and the skin that a lot of us think of as the proximal or the cuticle is actually the proximal nail fold, and that is live skin that we want to keep. But the dead skin on your nail plate, polish can't bond to skin, as we all know. If you get it on your skin, you take a shower, it comes right off, okay? So since polish doesn't stick to skin, we actually want to remove cuticle if you have it. A lot of people, the cuticle actually gets sloughed off while you're putting your hands in pockets or digging into things. And so for a lot of people, they don't even really have cuticle. But if you're somebody who's experiencing a lot of chipping down at the cuticle line, then you are probably experiencing the fact that your polish is not bonding to that cuticle skin, so we want to get rid of it. Another thing is to make sure that you are oiling regularly. It is very possible, and it does, where the water will go underneath. So as your nail grows out and it's no longer covered with polish, right at that cuticle line, you have exposed nail plate. Well, if you don't keep that all nice and filled with oil, then the water is going to seep in and it'll go right underneath and it will break that bond. Okay, and you also want to use our lotion stick or our body balm to help create that water resistant barrier so that water can't get under there. Okay, let's talk about chipping at the tips. Okay, when I discovered this, it was huge. Basically, water can go from the underside all the way through and break that polish bond at the top. So that's how I figured out, oh, we should wrap base coat and top coat around the tips. That helps seal out the water and helps prevent that chipping that happens right at your free edge. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are wrapping and capping with your base coat and your top coat. Also, take a look at how much tip wear are you getting. People with shorter nails get more tip wear because here's the reason. When you pick something up and you've got long nails, you use the pads of your fingers like this. When you have short nails, you're used to picking things up with the tips of your fingers. And so if you look at that and you're picking it up, you're touching, the tips are touching things all the time, okay? And so that's why people with shorter nails will get a lot of tip wear. And if you don't deal with that by doing wrapping and capping, then you are going to, even though you have your nails polished, you are going to be getting water absorption, and then you take the polish off and suddenly your nails are peeling and you're like, why? That's why, okay? And this is another reason why it's really important to wear gloves and look at what's going on in your daily life. Okay, here's another thing. This is an interesting photo of my nails, and oh my gosh, I loved this manicure so much. And you can see the white line at my tips, that's tip wear. But you can also see I didn't get a whole lot of it, but that's because they were so long. And this is what's really great too, is that you can see the growth. And I didn't even get chipping down back at my cuticle line because I kept my nail plate really filled up with oil so that the water couldn't get underneath there and break all of the polish at the cuticle line and causing that chipping. That was after 11 days. So just know that tip wear is unavoidable unless you just lay in bed and do nothing and just eat bonbons and watch TV. Some days I'd like to do that. So the solution, since tip wear is unavoidable, we want to make sure that you cap your tips with polish every 24 to 48 hours if this is an issue for you, and then wrap the entire manicure again with another layer of top coat. The thing that you want to be careful is, like, if you're putting on too many layers of top coat, each time you do, it re-wets the top surface, and that can cause, actually, the more layers can cause the shrinkage that I was talking about earlier. So just be aware of that, and know that if that's happening, if you're getting shrinkage at the tips, it's time to do a new manicure. Okay, let's look at different polish formulas, because sometimes the chipping is just the polish. It can be the age of the polish. Sometimes older polishes chip much easier. The formula, some formulas and the dyes and the pigments and the glitters, the shimmers, that can affect the durability. Even the humidity and the temperature of your room when you're painting. The brand of polish, sometimes people do well with one brand and they don't do well with another. I have experienced that. There is one brand and it doesn't work as well for me, but has that stopped me from wearing it? No. So I just know that it's not going to last 11 days. So brands can be an issue. The combination of your base coat, polish, and top coat, that can be an issue. Like, I've heard many stories of people saying, well, if I use this top coat with this polish, it doesn't work. If I switch my top coat, works fine. So, and that can also be if you find that like a top coat significantly changes the color of your polish, then it's the top coat and the polish having an interaction. A lot of times this can happen with whites. If you put a top coat over a white and it turns it kind of yellowish, that's because they don't agree. And then, of course, at the end of the day, your own body chemistry. So, and what are you doing with your lifestyle? So you can look at body chemistry and lifestyle, and then it just gets very complicated. So don't feel bad that you have not figured this out. All right, another one. This one we can attribute to ourselves, operator error. How thick are you applying your polish? It's really, really important. Remember I said thin to win or begin again? That is because the polish dries by the solvents evaporating out of the polish. And what's left are the resins and the dyes and the pigments and stuff. And that's what gets hard, is the resins. So it's very important to apply your polish thinly. In fact, your first layer should be streaky. You don't want it to be a nice coverage. It would seem that your second coat would not make it cover really well, but it actually does. So you want to apply your polish very thin. It's way better. Can I say way better? It's way better to apply 2 or 3 thin coats than it is to try and get it done with 1 thick coat. Another thing is, are you blowing? Or are you using a fan? Are you waving your hands to get them to dry faster? All that's actually doing, it does not speed up the time that solvents need to evaporate. Okay. All that does is it helps dry that top surface faster, and then the solvents are trapped inside, and then that can lead to bubbling. Another thing is adding quick dry products on top that may not respond well with different polishes. Okay. And then also doing a manicure before bed. You're taking your life into your own hands. I've found that for me, I can't do a manicure right before bed. It just doesn't have enough time for the solvents to completely evaporate and harden, and then I end up with sheet marks. All right, let's look at some other factors that can affect how fast your polish dries. And remember, I was saying thin layers dry faster, but here's some other things. Your body temperature. Oh my goodness. I was trying to paint my nails during the winter, and if my nails are ice or my hands are icy cold, my nails just would not dry. So that's very important. Your body temperature, your house temperature, what's the humidity like? I found that when I tried to polish my nails in Hawaii outside, I just got bubbling like crazy, and that's just a lot more humidity. And again, the polish brand, polish formula, some polishes dry faster than others. The thickness of the layers, remember, we want thin to win. And then also the number of layers. Think about every time you're doing it, you're doing a new layer, that layer is just re-wetting the layer below it. So that can affect it as well. All right, so here's some tips to avoid chips. You want to do this. Cleanse your nail plate with alcohol or pure acetone to prep your nails. Avoid contact with water for at least an hour before polishing. Doug Schoon, author of Nail Structure and Product Chemistry, has the suggestion of if your nails are in water for 1 minute or more, you need to let them dry out for an hour. That's how fast your nails can absorb water. Okay, and if your nails have absorbed water, then you put polish on top of them. Well, the water has to go somewhere, and so that you're going to get a less durable polish application because your nails were wet. Again, I talked about thin to win. Wait for your polish to dry thoroughly between each layer. I actually like to do polish when I'm working because I'm able to go back and forth between work. A really great thing is when you're using social media, go get on social media for 4 or 5 minutes between each layer. That will make a huge difference. And then also make sure you wrap a new layer of top coat every other day if you feel that that's necessary. Again, you want to avoid these things. Do not wave your hands or use a blow dryer. No, don't paint layers that are too thick. Not waiting long enough to let your polish dry between the layers. Don't do a mani right before bed. That usually means frustration in the morning. And don't paint in high humidity or cold weather. So you want to make sure that you're in a room that does not have fans on and is a good temperature. Okay, let's look at the last thing, your nail health and structure. So peeling nails that peel, It's called delamination. That can shorten the life of your manicure as well. So it's really important that we focus on the hydration treatments. This helps increase the flexibility and sort of glues those nail layers together. If you're somebody with short nails, this is only something that I would recommend with short nails. If you have overly flexible nails and they are not wet from water, you may find that nail strengtheners can help. Nail strengtheners I do not recommend for people with long nails because they will make your nails too hard. Whereas if your nails are really thin and short and overly flexible, then a nail strengthener, they have ingredients that help hold the nail plate tighter than just regular polish. And so that is going to provide more temporary strength. Remember, water and solvents are a big problem. If you soak your nails in water or other solvents, it can lead to delamination, fancy word for peeling. And then if you're one of those that suffers from peeling after using acetone, and you know it's not because you had tons of tip wear where water was getting in the tips, you just find that every time after you use acetone, your nails are peeling, you may want to switch to a non-acetone polish removers. There's even soy polish removers. Those take a lot more time. But if you're somebody, for some people, if your nail layers are more open, acetone can cause those layers to sort of lift. And so you do want to replace the acetone with a non-acetone type of remover.